Sellers, just because you spent $65,000 on a brand new kitchen 5 years ago does not mean that you get 100% of that investment back when you sell.
There's nothing I love more to see people come together as a community and lowball sellers. Baby, y'all are doing a great job. Keep up the good work, okay?
Across the country, sellers are desperate to sell, but no one's buying. Homes that used to sell in days are sitting for months, and if you're not careful, you could be next. So what happens when you try to sell your house too soon? Let's find out.
This is my reenactment of what it's like to sell a house in 2025. Hello, I'd like to sell my house that I purchased in 2023. Okay, I can help you with that. Just so you know, you're going to lose $20,000 to $30,000. Oh no, that's terrible news. How is that possible? You built this house at the height of the market, and now the economy is terrible, and people are starving, and interest rates are higher than ever. Do you want to take the $20,000 or $30,000 loss or not? I mean, I guess if that's the only option, okay, let's do it. Great, I'll get it listed today. Hey, is anybody interested in the house? No, but now we have to lower the price and you will lose $30,000 to $40,000. What if we can't afford to lose $30,000 to $40,000? What are our other options? Actually $50,000 now. Take that or go into foreclosure. What does going into foreclosure even mean? I have no idea. Jail? Jail? $50,000 or jail. Your choice.
She's funny. I think that marker is supposed to be a mustache, but on a serious note, it's actually very unlikely that you'll make money selling a house after just a few years. The only real exception is if you bought the home below market value and added value through renovations, like upgrading the kitchen, upgrading the bathroom, or maybe even improving the curb appeal. From 2020 to 2022, the median home sales price in the US jumped by more than $100,000, and homeowners saw record appreciation, meaning that their homes increased in value fast. But those days are over. Price growth has slowed dramatically, and in some areas, prices are even slightly declining. In her other videos, she mentioned that she has to relocate and sell unexpectedly, so unfortunately, the timing just isn't great for her. Still, I wish her the best. Why do you think some sellers are having challenges selling in 2025? Let me know what you think. There are many common reasons why a house won't sell. The one in this next clip is unexpected.
You've had multiple showings on your house, but you haven't had any offers. What's going on? You thought your home was priced competitively because your next door neighbors priced it similarly and you have the same layout, same bedrooms, same pretty much everything, and you've looked at 2 to 3 different neighbors' houses and you thought you priced it competitively. What is going on? Here's something to think about, and this might hurt some of your all's feelings. I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. It's more so something for you to consider to help your house get sold. One of the number one things that will turn different buyers away from wanting to purchase your house is the smell of pet urine and pets and the smell of cigarette smoke. I know it's hard to get rid of that smell completely, so if you have pets or if you smoke inside, definitely consider cleaning the walls, consider getting a professional carpet cleaner to come in and clean your carpets. And if you're a cigarette smoker and you're still smoking indoors while you're trying to show your houses to different potential buyers, it's time to take that outside. Because some people are actually allergic to cigarette smoke and some people are actually allergic to pets. I mean, you know that. So present your house at the price that you want it to be sold at. If you want it to be sold at the price that your neighbors have their houses listed at, stage it and clean it like you want it to be sold at that price.
I go to open houses for fun, and honestly, if there's a bad smell, I'm walking right out. I don't understand how someone wants to sell their home but doesn't make sure it's clean or smells good. It's worth whatever the cost is to get rid of that smell because that's just nasty. What amazes me is how many sellers don't even bother to stage their homes, especially when they're vacant. It just comes off as lazy and being cheap. One of the best parts of going to an open house is being able to picture yourself living there, even if your furniture style is different. That's why presentation matters so much, because you're helping buyers imagine their future in that space. So do you think the smell in a home that's for sale is a big deal? Let me know your thoughts. A lot of people believe the entire country is in a buyer's market, but is that true?
It seems like we're in a little bit of a buyer's market right now when it comes to home ownership. Now, I saw someone online saying that they are seeing that houses are sitting, so I decided to look into my area and the surrounding areas, which are very sought out areas, and houses are sitting for weeks. And then of course, because of that, the prices are coming down. They are reducing the price and reducing the price the longer that the house is sitting. Now, I feel like sometimes people talk to me about homeownership, how long should they wait, blah, blah, blah. And even without this information, I was like, I wouldn't wait. If you're prepared to buy a house, you have the savings, you have the credit, you have the income, you're not going to be house poor. Like, I would move towards homeownership. And one thing that happened with us when we were building, we were planning on actually waiting until later in the year. But we actually decided to close a little bit earlier in the year, or at least we started the process. And it's a good thing we did, because the house cost, like the base price for building, went up at least $30,000 by the end of the year. So if you're ready to buy, I feel like if I was in the market for a house right now, I would be trying to move towards right now, because you have more leverage and use the money for different things, buying down your interest rates, having them pay for closing costs. There's a bunch of different options. So if you feel like you are ready, or if you're not ready right now, get ready. I don't think we know how long it's going to be this way. Even if interest rates are higher right now, you could probably use some of that negotiating power to put it towards getting a lower rate if that's what you're waiting on. But it's up to you.
She makes a great point. Real estate is local. What's happening in your city or neighborhood matters way more than the national headlines. A good realtor should be able to explain what's going on locally, things like price trends and inventory trends. They can also help you navigate homes that you can actually afford. To make that process easier, I created a free home affordability calculator. It gives you an estimate of what price range might fit your budget, and there's a short video that walks you through how to use it. The link is in the pinned comment if you want to check it out. I also agree with her. If your finances are solid and you can comfortably afford a home, it's worth moving forward instead of waiting for the perfect time. Also, buying down the interest rate means paying some money up front to get a lower interest rate and a lower monthly payment. But I want to hear from you. Do you think it's a bad time for anyone to buy a home, even if they're financially ready? Many sellers believe that any renovations they make will guarantee a return when it's time to sell, but that's not always the case.
Sellers, just because you spent $65,000 on a brand new kitchen 5 years ago does not mean that you get 100% of that investment back when you sell. You don't get to add on $200,000 to your price because your house is renovated. As a buyer, you're not paying for your custom choices. I don't like your cabinet choice. The speckled granite not working anymore. And I hate to tell you, but the flooring that you picked out is hideous. I'm gonna have to replace it anyways. If your house is not selling, in your words, it's immaculate and completely renovated. If you renovated it all to your taste, you are not going to get 100% of your investment back. If your house is not selling, this is why.
She's right. A big mistake some sellers make is thinking they'll get a dollar for dollar return on their renovations. For example, if someone spends $25,000 on a new kitchen, they often assume their home's value will automatically go up by that same amount, but that's not always true. That's why it's smart to connect with an experienced realtor before starting big projects. They can give you a comparative market analysis, which basically means showing you what similar homes in your area are selling for, so you can make a more educated decision about whether a renovation is worth it or not. If you're looking to buy or sell in the next year, I'm a licensed realtor and I can connect you to a realtor in your area. For more information, go to the pinned comment. And remember this, the custom touches that fit your personal taste when you live in the home might not match what buyers want when it's time to sell. But what do you think about speckled granite? Is it really that bad? It's always fun to make personal touches to your home while you're living there, but it can backfire when it's time to sell. Let's find out why. But first, I need you to hit that like and subscribe button. If you want to get better at real estate investing, you got to follow this channel.
One of my biggest fears about undoing all of the fun and unique things in my house to get it ready to sell is that it just won't sell. Like, what if I put in all of this work to undo everything that makes my house fun just for nobody to buy the house? How long am I going to be stuck in this clinically white, boring house before somebody decides to buy it? Because realistically, how many people can actually afford to buy a home right now, let alone a massive home that's over 3,000 square feet, 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath, plus an office? And I know that the comments are going to say, just be realistic with the price. It's always about the price. And yeah, sure, I can list the house $100,000 under what its actual value is. But if nobody is out there buying houses, is it really going to matter if I list the house for $100,000 under? And these are the questions that keep me up at night. And I am so stressed and I'm so anxious and I'm just so ready to be done with this house and get it listed and just hope and pray that somebody buys this house. because I just physically and emotionally and financially can't handle it anymore.
She's realizing something a lot of homeowners struggle with. Nobody really cares about the unique or quirky things you added to make your house feel like home. Personally, I think it's great that she can easily undo most of these touches as she gets ready to sell. And I get how she might feel like the house looks boring now, but if it's priced correctly, that plain look can actually help it sell faster because buyers can picture themselves living there a little bit more than when she had all her stuff in there. I do wonder if she's making these decisions and assumptions based on her own guesses or if a realtor actually showed her the market data. In another video, she mentioned how her home's been on the market for about 30 days with no offers. That can mean a few things. Maybe the price is just too high, or maybe the presentation just isn't connecting with buyers. They did drop the price by $11,000, and now it's the lowest priced home of its size in that particular neighborhood. So it'll be interesting to see if that helps. But do you think she's overthinking the whole thing, or are her concerns about people not being able to afford homes legitimate? By the way, she lives in Phoenix. Let me know your thoughts. We talked about the mistakes that sellers have been making, but this next clip has a funny way of explaining what's going on.
Come here, Linnell. What do you think about these blinds I added? They go down like this, and they raise up like this. I know that's about another 20,000. I done came in here and added this gas line. You think that's gonna give me about another 6,000? Linnell, I know. I done came in here and I done changed it out and got a new toilet. Sure, this should add value by at least by another 3,000. What you think, Linnell? I done came in here and add this beautiful ceiling light. You think that's gonna give me about another 5,500? Now, Linnell, I know this gonna give me lots of value. I came in and add these beautiful pendant lights. I know this spot should give me about another 10,000. And say thank you so much, Miss Shirlene, for allowing me to see your beautiful home. All those upgrades that you've done is absolutely phenomenal. But I gotta tell you, it ain't worth the extra 150,000. Nah.
So this is hilarious because honestly, this is how it goes with some sellers. I thought those blinds were pretty cool, but let's be serious. They'll add zero value to the home. It's important to stay realistic and work with a realtor who tells you the truth, not just what you want to hear about your house. A good realtor will guide you so you have reasonable expectations about what actually adds value and what doesn't. Another thing that happens is sellers often overvalue their homes because of their personal bias, and they see it as more special than it really is, even if the market data says otherwise. This happens every single day. Do you think any of these features should actually add value to a property? Let me know in the comments what you think. So some sellers are stuck in the past when it comes to pricing, and this next clip proves it.
If you are a homeowner right now and you need to sell a house, not want to sell it, not just putting feelers out there. If you need to sell a house, you have to be priced competitively. I have talked to multiple homeowners this morning that have not gotten the memo that it is a buyer's market right now. What does that mean for you if you are a seller and it's a buyer's market? It means that buyers can afford to be picky. It means that if you're an investor, okay, and I have X amount of dollars that I want to put into my next project, I'm going to be picky about that next project. It either needs to be a fairly easy, cut and dry, bread and butter type of project, or we need to make some money on it.
So many sellers still think it's 2021 or 2022, and I don't get it. One thing most people don't realize is that the realtor doesn't actually set the list price. They can provide data and help the seller understand the market, but at the end of the day, the seller decides the price. There's a property in my neighborhood that's been on and off the market for 3 years at ridiculous prices. I personally think they're just holding out and hoping somebody's gonna overpay for a home that hasn't even been renovated. However, every market is different. It's not a buyer's market everywhere. But buyers today are much less likely to overpay than they were back in 2021 or 2022. Do you think sellers are being unrealistic with their prices these days? Let me know your thoughts. We've seen sellers struggling to get offers, but what happens when your home sits for months with no action?
There's nothing I love more to see people come together as a community and lowball sellers. Baby, y'all are doing a great job. Keep up the good work, okay? I was just scrolling on TikTok minding my business, and I came across this video of a lady whose house has been on the market for 143 days.
She crying and complaining. So she gonna tell y'all better than me. So just watch this.
Day 143 of trying to sell our house. And everybody's saying it's the price. It's not the price. When we originally listed it, our price was fantastic, and we've lowered it 3 more times since then, right?
Problem number 1, and I say this, obviously there are going to be exceptions, but generally speaking, you shouldn't be trying to sell your house and you're only 2 years in. It has to be some sort of an external circumstance that should be having you sell your home, maybe a job change, you have to move or something like that. But thinking that you're buying a house today, selling it tomorrow, 2 years, whatever, and you're going to get a huge windfall of money is not going to happen. That is the perfect recipe for you actually ending up in the red after you consider all of the costs that's involved with selling a home. And that's the consequence for overpaying for a house. So the moral of the story is pay what you think that the house is worth so you don't take the hit.
Her reaction is hilarious, but honestly, if a home has been sitting on the market for 143 days, a lowball offer isn't unreasonable. If a property isn't priced correctly, the market will tell you. And depending on how motivated the seller is, they might be willing to cut a deal just to get the house sold. If it's not the price, maybe it's the staging or even the smell. But in some cases, let's be real, it's usually the price. I also agree with her point about selling a home after just a few years. Unless something major happens like a job change or a life event, you usually won't make much money, if anything, if you bought at market rate and sell too soon. Do you think more sellers are going to start getting lowball offers pretty soon? Let me know what you think. After everything we've seen, we're going to end on a lighter note with a creative seller.
I've been putting cookies out for showings for my house to try to seduce them into buying my house. I don't even know if this is a good idea or a bad idea, but at this point, I'm just so far in it that like every showing I put out cookies and little sign that says, please help yourselves in some water. And milk would make more sense, but then there's milk and there's almond milk and oat milk and like what if they're lactose intolerant? So I just settled for water with it. And my husband and my realtor are like, you don't need to do this. And I was like, okay. But like maybe the cookies really like lure them in and be like, I would love to eat cookies here. Like I would put out a full buffet. You don't know how desperate you will be to get someone to like your house until you try to sell your house. And then you're just like, please love me. And it's been 1 week. It's been 1 week of putting showings out. So like I'm not far into this, but I'm just like, please. I feel like I am in high school just like desperately debt begging for someone to take me to the dance. I'm just like, please, for the love of God, buy this house. Like I will put money out at this point, which is not the point because we're trying to make money, but you know what I mean? Like I am so desperate.
I'm not even mad at this. Baking fresh cookies for an open house might not sell the home, but it definitely doesn't hurt. When I go to open houses just for fun, it's always a nice touch when there are snacks, preferably packaged ones though. I don't know if I would do those cookies. This is way better than having a home that smells bad like we saw earlier. Almost everyone loves the smell of freshly baked cookies, even if they don't eat one. It just makes the place feel warm and it makes the place feel inviting. At this point, sellers probably feel like they need to try everything so they can stand out. So we covered a lot today, from overpriced listings and bad smells to unrealistic sellers and homes sitting for months. And I believe the biggest takeaway is that the market has shifted in some areas. Homes aren't flying off the shelf anymore, and what worked in 2021 does not work now. If you're thinking about selling, pricing matters more than ever. Presentation matters and timing matters. And if you're a buyer, there are opportunities, especially when homes sit longer, but you need to buy smart. That's why it's so important to work with a realtor who knows your local market and can give you honest advice about pricing, offers, and trends in the area. If you're looking to buy or sell in the next year and you're not already working with a realtor who you trust, you can use the link in the description or the pinned comment and I'll help you get matched to an agent in your area. And if you're just starting to plan, check out my free home affordability calculator. It'll show you the price range that could potentially fit your budget and walk you through how everything works. If you're interested in that, head to the pinned comment or the description. Whether you're buying or selling, I want you to remember it's not just about the headlines. It's about making smart moves based on your personal situation. Now that you know about the problems that sellers are having, I want you to learn about embarrassing home buying decisions and how to avoid them. Check out this video right here.